Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
I think it's hard, though, sometimes for children when they're younger to understand that there are these things called emergency. I think that's perfectly acceptable and realistic when you run a business. It's not 9-to-5 job, but it's just that it shouldn't be a chronic situation, because then, number one, you're really not managing it so well because you're always in crisis mode rather than planning mode. And then secondly, too, you're not able to delegate. It seems like, if one says, I'm the only one who can solve this issue. So as long as it's not a normal part of the routine, I think there's nothing wrong for children to also learn the lesson early in life that the world doesn't evolve just around you. I want to be there at your ballet, at your hula show, and I go to most, but if once in a while I can't, you have to accept that too. As a single parent for several years, they understood that mom had to go and work and take care and, support the family too.
So I'm wondering, did you ever feel like it was a disadvantage? Because, as a woman, we want to take that lead role in nurturing of your children and making sure that you spend that time with them as they grow up. So did you ever feel that it was a disadvantage because, your husband is in the limelight, right? So there's a lot of things that he's involved in and would like you there by his side. But like you said, family was first.
I think it's important that spouses are very supportive of each other, and now we have a role reversal. So hubby stays at home and he cooks and he does a wonderful chili and spaghetti. And staying at home is a full-time job, and in many ways even harder, I think. I give moms a lot of credit, because if that is a 24/7 job and often thankless, and it is priceless what we do with our children at home. I think as a woman, if you choose to have a career and also want to work, it is a little bit more challenging. You can keep saying quality time, but there's also a thing called a certain amount of quantity has to be spent. So personally, I think that one, if you have a job that's very demanding, then you need to make sure that there's some backup support, whether it's in dad or grandma to help out. And two, to really communicate to the children so that they don't feel like they're second priority. And I think if you do that, you can still do both. Now, for a lot of moms who work part-time or have a job that ends at 3, I actually think it's good for them to get out and to always be able to communicate and work with other people, not just talk kids' vocabulary and I'm so lost. I've talked to some who've stayed home all their lives, and when the children go off to college, at the age of 50 or older, that's a hard transition. They feel really lost. So I would encourage, I have a niece and she has 2 young boys, but they're both, one in preschool, one in school, and don't come home till 3. So she's working part-time, and I think that's the best balance.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.